this thing on? All right, y'all, buckle the hell up because we're about to deep dive into some serious soul level mechanics. We're talking reincarnation, past lives, soul contracts, destiny, fate, free will, karmic entanglements, you name it. Because if you think life is just some random sequence of events, spoiler alert, it's not. And if you're still out here believing in past lives but not in reincarnation, well, that's a paradox I'm about to shatter. So grab your tea, your journal, or whatever you need to process existential level truths because we're going all in. Now, disclaimer before we get going here, let's start with this. And this is a major key detail that most people overlook. The soul and spirit are not the same thing, and understanding their differences changes how we see reincarnation, fate, destiny, karma, and free will. Now, the soul is the keeper of your memories, lessons, and contracts. It's the aspect of you that reincarnates, bringing past life imprints, unresolved karma, and your unique energetic blueprint into each lifetime. Your soul is what connects your past and future selves. It holds the story. Okay? Now, the spirit, however, is the life force itself. It's the energy that animates the body, anchored in the pancreas. Your body can function without a soul. Think of cases where people feel soulless or disconnected. But you cannot survive without your spirit. The spirit is the literal power source that keeps your physical existence running. Let's just unpack it all. Alrighty, reincarnation and past lives. They are the same damn thing. Let's break it down. All right, let's get this straight. Reincarnation is the process. Past lives are the proof. They are inseparable. If you believe in past lives, you have to accept reincarnation, because where do you think those past lives came from? Some spiritual clearance rack? No, they're yours, part of the soul's ongoing journey. Let's take this deeper. Reincarnation and the cosmic recycling program. Reincarnation is the universal mechanism that keeps souls evolving. It's like spiritual school and earth, or wherever else you've incarnated. It's the classroom. Each lifetime is another semester, another syllabus, another chance to either pass the lessons or end up in summer school. Karmic cycles. But here's the thing. You don't reincarnate randomly. You choose, alongside your guides, higher self, and soul group, the circumstances, lessons, and experiences that will serve your growth. You don't always reincarnate as a human. While Earth is a particularly chaotic yet effective training ground, some souls have had incarnations as other beings, other planetary systems, different dimensions, even as energy forms before deciding to play the human game. Past lives, the soul's memory bank. Every incarnation leaves an imprint on your soul. Those experiences don't just disappear when you die, they're stored in your Akashic records. Think of it as the cosmic Google Drive of everything your soul has ever done. These memories influence your current lifetime in ways you may not even realize. Here's how past lives show up in the now. Unexplained fears and phobias. Are you terrified of drowning but have never had a near-death experience in this life? That might be a memory from a past incarnation where water was your demise. Atlantis. Anyway, instant connections or repulsions with people. Ever met someone and felt like you've known them forever, or conversely, instantly hated someone for no logical reason? That's the past life recognition. You've encountered that soul before, just in different roles. Now, again, we're talking about encountering the soul, not the spirit. Natural talents and affinities. Some gifts don't come from genetics. If you've always been drawn to a certain skill, language, culture, or place, there's a high chance you've experienced it in a past life. Recurring life patterns. If the same issues keep showing up in different relationships, jobs, or situations, that's likely an unresolved lesson from a past incarnation bleeding into this one. Now, the soul reincarnates over lifetimes, carrying lessons, memories, and contracts. Remember that. The spirit, however, is unique to each individual incarnation. My spirit is Christina, my soul is somebody else. It is a reincarnation. You don't carry the same spirit across lifetimes. Your soul receives a new body with a new spirit each time. Your life is a book, and you keep writing new chapters. Think of your soul's journey as a long ass book series. Each incarnation is a chapter, and while each one has its own plot, the themes, characters, and conflicts carry over. Some lifetimes may be deeply intertwined, like sequels. Others might feel entirely separate, but still exist in the same universe. And just like any book series, some characters, people in your life, keep reappearing because there's unfinished business. Your soulmate? Probably someone you've known for lifetimes, playing different roles each time. Your biggest antagonist might have been your greatest teacher in another life. The lessons you keep facing, they won't stop until you get it and apply it. The past shapes the present, but doesn't control it. Here's where free will kicks in. Your past lives influence this one, but they don't dictate it. Just because you had a traumatic past life doesn't mean you're doomed to repeat it. It just means you have the opportunity to transcend it. Patterns are clues, not prisons. If something keeps showing up, it's because it's asking for resolution. Healing past life wounds can free up energy in this life. Whether through past life regression, energy work, or simply becoming aware of the pattern, releasing old baggage shifts everything. You are not just your past. You are your entire soul's experience, past, present, and future, all happening in a dynamic, evolving way. So, integration is key. Reincarnation and past lives aren't just fun spiritual concepts, they're tools for self awareness. The more you understand your soul's journey, the more you can break cycles, claim your lessons, and step into a more empowered version of yourself. So, if you're still out here saying, I believe in past lives, but not reincarnation, it's time to rethink that because, my friend, you wouldn't be here reading this, or listening rather, if you didn't already know, deep down, that this isn't your first rodeo. Soul contracts. Yep, you signed up for this, and here's why. Before you even took your first breath in this lifetime, you sat down with your spiritual team, your guides, higher self, and soul family, and mapped out the key experiences you'd encounter. Think of it like a cosmic syllabus for your incarnation. These agreements, they're called soul contracts. Prearranged experiences, relationships, and lessons that are meant to help you evolve. And spoiler alert, you agreed to them. Whether your ego decides you didn't, that's another thing. Whole other podcast. Now, before you start side-eyeing your past self for signing you up for some of the BS you've been through, let's break this down properly. The blueprint of a lifetime, how soul contracts work. A soul contract isn't about controlling your life. It's about setting up the stage for certain experiences so that your soul can grow in the way it intended. Here's how it generally works. 1. You decide on your lessons. Before reincarnating, your soul chooses what it wants to learn. Maybe you need to develop self-worth, resilience, forgiveness, or trust. These themes become the foundation of your contract. Number 2, you pick your players. Souls don't incarnate alone. We incarnate with our soul group, a collective of souls that frequently reincarnate together, playing different roles in each other's lives. Some will be your greatest loves, others will be your biggest triggers, and all of them will help you evolve. Number 3, you outline major events. While free will exists, certain pivotal experiences are pre-planned. These are the moments that shift your trajectory. Things like meeting a specific person, experiencing a particular challenge, or even getting that random opportunity that changes your life. Number 4, you forget everything. Oh my goodness. Although that's not always true, because some of us come in to remember, and that's our biggest thing. So, anyway, the moment you're born, the details of your soul contract go on spiritual airplane mode. If you knew every lesson in advance, you wouldn't experience them authentically. The challenge is in remembering, growing, and reclaiming your power in real time. Again, sometimes our burden is knowing everything and finding our way through it. Anyway, number 5, your soul makes the contracts, ensuring that you meet the right people and face the right challenges. Number 6, your spirit is what physically carries you through the contract, running the body that enables you to experience the lessons. If the spirit is weak, the body starts failing, making it harder to fulfill your contract. And this popped in my head, where someone says, you have soul, but your spirit is weak. That's the connection, where they are not the same thing. Why some soul contracts are less than fun. Let's be real. Not all contracts feel good. Some are downright brutal. That toxic ex, that family member who constantly tests your patience, that job that nearly broke you, all of these were agreements your soul made, not to punish you. Don't sit there in that negative energy. It's not to punish you, but to catalyze your growth. Now, here's some different types of contracts. We've got the karmic contracts. These involve unfinished business from past lives. If someone betrayed you in a past incarnation, you might reincarnate together again to resolve the dynamic, whether that means healing or flipping the script, flipping the roles. Next, we have healing contracts. Some people come into your life purely to help you heal something within yourself. It could be a friend who teaches you unconditional love, or a partner who triggers old wounds so you can finally address them. Catalyst contracts. These are the ones that shift everything. The ones that push you to your limits, break you down, and force you to rebuild. They're uncomfortable but necessary. And then we have the support contracts. Not all contracts are tough. Some souls agree to be your helpers, whether as lifelong friends, mentors, or even a stranger who shows up at the exact moment you need guidance. Now, why did I choose this? How to decode your soul contracts. When something happens that makes you want to scream, I didn't sign up for this, pause, because you actually did. And the key to moving forward is figuring out why. Number 1, what pattern keeps repeating? If you keep attracting the same types of people, not the same exact people, but the same types of people or situations, there's a contract at play. Are you learning boundaries, self-worth, trust? The lesson is in the repetition. Number 2, what triggers you the most? Triggers are teachers. If someone really gets under your skin, ask yourself why. Chances are there's a deeper soul level reason behind it. Number 3, what role does this person/event play in your growth? Sometimes the most painful experiences are the ones that launch us into awakening. The thing that broke you, it's probably the thing that's also building you. Now, rewriting soul contracts. Yes, it's possible. Now, just because you agreed to something before incarnating doesn't mean you're stuck with it forever. If you've learned the lessons and integrated the experience, you can renegotiate. Awareness is key. The moment you recognize a contract, you gain power over it. Lessons must be integrated. If you're still repeating the same cycle, the contract is still active. You cannot get rid of it. The key is breaking it fully and embodying what you were meant to learn. Energetic healing can help. Past life regressions. I tend to not say regression because that regresses, it takes you back in the work that you've done. It brings you back down levels. So past life meditations, we'll say it that way. Akashic records, readings, and energy work can assist in identifying and clearing outdated contracts. Your soul is not a victim, it's a creator. Your soul didn't come here to suffer, it came here to evolve. Every contract, no matter how challenging, is designed to push you into greater awareness, strength, and self-mastery. So next time you ask, why is this happening to me? Flip it to, why did I choose this? What am I meant to learn? How can I grow from this? Because the truth is, your soul already knows. You're just here to remember. Destiny versus fate, they are not the same thing. Here's why it matters. People love to use destiny and fate interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. And understanding the difference, that's where you reclaim your power. Think of your life as a book with multiple endings. You remember those books when we were kids where you could choose the path and it was different each time? Fate is the default storyline, the one that plays out if you just go through the motions, right? Same as that book. Destiny is the highest level, fully unlocked version, the one that requires you to be an active participant. Fate is your pre-laid track, while destiny is what you create. Now, here's where the spirit plays in. The spirit plays a crucial role because your ability to shift towards destiny depends on your life force. Now remember, the spirit runs the life force. The soul just has the memories, the contracts, what have you. A drained spirit leads to fatigue, burnout, and susceptibility to fate, whereas a strong spirit gives you the energy to actively change course. Let's break it down further. Fate, the default path. What it is. Fate is the preset trajectory of your life based on past choices, karma, and energetic patterns. It's the path you're on if you don't make conscious changes. Now, how it works. Imagine your life is a train on a track. If you do nothing, the train keeps moving in the direction it's already heading. Fate is predictable because it follows patterns, especially karmic ones. If you don't resolve something, the same types of situations, people, and experiences will keep showing up. It's not inherently bad. It's just what happens when you operate unconsciously or you operate in cruise control. Signs you're stuck in fate mode. You keep attracting the same types of relationships, jobs, or struggles. You feel like life is just happening to you rather than something you're creating. And you say things like, this is just how it is, or I guess this is my lot in life. Fate is what happens when you don't choose. It's passive, it's based on the past. Destiny, your soul's highest potential. What it is. Destiny is the greatest expression of your soul's purpose. It's the version of your life where you align with your intuition, higher self, and divine timing. how it works. If fate is the train track, destiny is realizing you're the conductor. You can change the route, switch tracks, or even build an entirely new path. Destiny isn't something that just happens, it's something you activate by making aligned choices. You feel pulled toward it. Your dreams, passions, and gut instincts, those are glimpses of your destiny trying to get your attention. Signs you're moving toward destiny. You start listening to your intuition instead of ignoring it. You make choices that feel uncomfortable but deeply right. Synchronicities start showing up, like doors magically opening, people appearing at the right time, or sudden breakthroughs. That's a whole other episode on its own. You feel an inner shift from reacting to creating. Destiny is what happens when you choose. It's active, it's based on your highest potential. So, how to shift from fate to destiny? You always have both running at the same time. Fate is the road you're on, but destiny is the one waiting for you if you step into it. So, how do you switch gears? Number one, recognize the patterns. What's on repeat in your life? Are you in the same types of situations, relationships, or struggles over and over? If yes, congratulations. You just found a fate loop, and now you can change it. Number two, start making conscious choices. Fate is what happens when you don't choose. Destiny unfolds when you take action towards your higher self. Every time you follow your intuition, step out of your comfort zone, or make a new choice, you're shifting from fate to destiny. Number three, trust the nudges. Those gut feelings, those random ideas that won't go away, they're not random. The dreams that feel impossible, that's your destiny calling. The more you listen, the stronger it gets. Number four, be willing to break the cycle. Choosing destiny means letting go of old patterns, beliefs, and even people that keep you stuck in fate mode. It might be uncomfortable at first, but so is staying in a life that doesn't align with your soul. So, fate is the default, destiny is the upgrade. Fate is what happens when you stay asleep at the wheel. Like I said, cruise control. Destiny is what happens when you wake up and start driving. Put that foot on the gas pedal, go a little bit faster, go a little bit slower, make that turn, right? Both exist, both are running in parallel, but which one wins? That's up to you. So, are you going to let life happen to you, or are you going to create the life you were meant for? The choice is yours. Free will, yes, we have it, but it's complicated. Of course, it's complicated, right? Here's where people start scratching their heads. If we have free will, how can our lives also be predestined? Isn't that a contradiction? Nope, it's a paradox, and both are true at the same time. The key is understanding that free will doesn't override soul contracts, but it does influence how we navigate them. Free will exists within the framework of predestination, but your spirit determines how much energy you have to exercise that free will. If your spirit is depleted, you're more likely to stay on the default fate track instead of making the leap toward destiny. Let's break it down. Think of life like an open world video game. Imagine you're playing a massive open world video game. The game developers, your higher self, and guides have set up a main storyline. That's your soul contract. There are key missions you signed up for before incarnating. The major relationships you'll have, the core lessons you're here to learn, the pivotal crossroads you'll encounter. Now, how you move through this game, totally up to you. You can take the direct path and complete your missions efficiently. You can ignore the storyline entirely and wander around doing side quests, aka distractions, avoidance, procrastination. You can make choices that extend your gameplay. Ever find yourself in a karmic loop, repeating the same situation over and over? Yeah, that. You can even rage quit and refuse to play, but spoiler, you'll just reincarnate and try again. The key takeaway: some events are fixed points in the storyline. You will encounter them no matter what. But how you respond to them, that's where free will comes in. The framework of predestination: you choose more than you think. Before you incarnated, you and your spiritual team mapped out your core experiences, soul lessons, and major connections. Think of this as the skeleton of your lifetime, okay? Some things are non negotiable. You will cross paths with certain people, soulmates, karmic ties, twin flames. Don't get me started on twin flames. It's the rarest, absolute rarest connection in the multiverse. Don't get me started on twin flames. That's going to be another episode if I even touch on it. You will encounter key turning points that challenge your growth. You will be nudged toward your soul's purpose, and if you ignore it, life will get louder. Now, where free will plays in: you choose how you react to these situations. You decide how fast or slow you learn the lessons. And you can take the easy way, the hard way, or the let's repeat this for 3 lifetimes way. The choice is up to you. So, for example, let's say you contracted to learn self-worth in this lifetime. You might meet a toxic partner who forces you to recognize your value, a mentor who shows you what self-respect looks like, multiple jobs where you have to learn to set boundaries. The lesson will show up. Whether you learn it quickly and move on or resist it and repeat the pattern, that's your free will. The universe will course correct because it's smarter than we are. Here's the thing: free will lets us make choices, but the universe always has backup plans. If you stray too far from your soul's mission, expect synchronicities, gentle nudges to get you back on track, tower moments, the universe flipping your table when you refuse to move, repeating patterns, because if you don't learn the lesson the first time, I'll come back, and usually louder. Divine detours. Sometimes what feels like a wrong turn is actually leading you exactly where you need to be. Think of the universe like GPS navigation. You have a set destination, your soul path. You can take different roads to get there. Free will. If you veer off course, you get rerouted. And we all sit there and sometimes talk shit and fight with our navigation, right? Or is that just me? No, that's just me? Okay, cool. Sure, you can ignore the GPS and take unnecessary detours, but the destination doesn't change. You just make the journey longer or harder for yourself. Where free will ends and divine intervention begins. So, do we have free will? Yes, but within the boundaries of a predestined framework. Here's the balance. What's predestined? The family you're born into. What's free will? How you navigate those relationships. Another example: what's predestined? The core lessons you signed up for. What's free will? Whether you learn them easily or painfully. Okay? What's predestined? Key people you're meant to meet. And what's free will? What you do with those connections. What's predestined? Major crossroads and turning points. What's free will? Which path you choose when they appear. And last example, what's predestined? Your soul's greater purpose. What's free will? How long it takes you to step into it. So, do we actually have free will? Yes, but it's more like free will with bumper rails. You have infinite choices within the boundaries of what your soul pre-planned. You can delay lessons, but you can't avoid them. And you can resist your path, but the universe will always nudge you back. The paradox, you're both the creator of your reality and following a script you helped write before you got here. So the real question isn't if you have free will, it's how are you using it? Because whether you take the fast track or the scenic route, the universe will get you where you're meant to be. Ooh, karmic entanglements. Let's get into it. Your past is your present. You've been here before, literally, and so have the people around you. Ever met someone and felt an instant connection or just as intensely a strong dislike? Ever found yourself repeating the same relationship dynamics with different people? Ever had an irrational fear or a talent that came out of nowhere? That's karmic entanglement. It's the past bleeding into the present, showing up in your life as patterns, relationships, and experiences that demand resolution. It's not some cosmic punishment, it's an invitation to balance the scales. Karmic imprints sit in the soul, influencing relationship patterns and repetitive cycles. However, the spirit determines your ability to break free. If your spirit is weakened due to emotional exhaustion, illness, or energetic blockages, it becomes harder to process and clear karmic cycles. What is a karmic entanglement? A karmic entanglement is an unfinished energetic contract between souls. It means you and another person have unresolved business from a past life or multiple past lives, and that energy is still playing out in this one. Maybe you betrayed them before and now they're here to test your loyalty. Maybe they wronged you and now you have a chance to break the cycle instead of seeking revenge. Maybe you've been repeating the same lesson together for centuries, stuck in a loop until one of you finally learns. Karmic entanglements are like open tabs in your soul's browser. They keep running in the background until you actively close them. Signs you're dealing with karmic entanglement. Karmic connections are intense and they often feel impossible to ignore. Here's how they show up. 1. Instant connections or instant aversions. Have you ever met someone and felt like you've known them forever? Or maybe the opposite, you meet someone and instantly dislike them, even though they've done nothing to you, not in this life. That's karmic memory kicking in. Your soul remembers the history, even if your conscious mind and your spirit from this lifetime don't. Sometimes that feeling of recognition is a sign of deep soul ties. Other times, it's a warning. Hey, we've done this before, be mindful. Example, you meet someone and there's an instant magnetic attraction, but the relationship is chaotic, emotionally draining, and full of red flags. Why? Because you're working through unresolved karma, not necessarily meant to be together forever. Number 2, repetitive relationship patterns. If you keep attracting the same type of person over and over, whether it's controlling partners, unreliable friends, or manipulative bosses, chances are you're stuck in a karmic loop. The lesson keeps repeating because you haven't integrated it yet. Example, if you keep dating emotionally unavailable people, it's probably because your soul is trying to teach you self-worth, boundaries, or the courage to just walk away. Until you learn the lesson, you'll keep attracting the same experience, just with different faces. Karma isn't punishment, it's persistence. Number 3, unexplainable fears or talents. I have experienced this, and mine, just on a side note, mine was needles. I had a deathly fear of needles. I was 17 and the doctor looked at me and said, "You are a teenager. You're almost a grown adult. Why are you crying?" And I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know why I had it, and a past life revealed it to me. So I definitely have had this. Ever had an irrational fear that makes no sense? Or a talent that came naturally without years of practice? That's likely a past life imprint. Unexplainable fears. A fear of drowning, despite never having a traumatic experience. You might have drowned in a past life. A fear of public speaking, even though you've never been on stage. Maybe you were persecuted for speaking your truth before. Natural born talents. Play an instrument like you've been doing it for centuries. Maybe you have. Instinctively understand healing, herbs, or energy work. You probably practiced it in previous lifetimes. Funny, actually, all of those, I fall in all those categories. Your soul remembers everything. Some of it carries over as strength, some as fears, and some as emotional baggage that still needs processing. Okay? The purpose of karmic entanglements. Karma isn't revenge. It's not a debt that must be paid. It's simply about energetic balance. When karma plays out, it's not about evening the score. It's about learning, evolving, and breaking cycles. If you hurt someone in a past life, the goal isn't to suffer in this one. It's to make different choices. If you were betrayed, the lesson isn't to seek revenge. It's to learn discernment, healing, or forgiveness. The universe isn't keeping a moral scoreboard. It's just making sure everything finds equilibrium. How to break free from karmic loops. If you're caught in a karmic cycle, the way out is through awareness, accountability, and action. Step 1, recognize the pattern. Notice the relationships, triggers, and recurring themes in your life. What keeps happening? What feels familiar? This is the first clue. Step 2, ask yourself the hard questions. I know, obviously, it's hard. It's not easy. What lesson am I supposed to learn here? How am I contributing to this cycle? What choice have I been afraid to make? Step 3, make a different choice. The cycle breaks when you stop reacting the same way. If you've always given second chances, try setting a boundary. If you've always avoided confrontation, try speaking up. The moment you change your response, the karmic energy shifts. Step 4, heal and release. Sometimes karmic connections require forgiveness. Not for them, but for you. Sometimes it's about letting go and allowing the past to stay in the past. Meditation, cord cutting, and energy work can all help. Karma isn't a trap, it's a tool for evolution. You're not doomed to repeat painful patterns forever. The moment you recognize the lesson and act differently, the cycle breaks. Karmic entanglements aren't here to punish you, they're here to guide you. Your past is showing up in your present because your soul is trying to complete something. So, next time you feel stuck, instead of asking, why does this keep happening to me? Try asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because the faster you learn, the faster you move forward. And I don't know about you, but being stubborn isn't suitable. All right, folks. So, given all that information, how it all ties together, the grand design of your soul's journey. All right, let's step back and look at the bigger picture, because none of this happens in isolation. Your fate, destiny, free will, and karmic entanglements aren't random concepts floating around separately. They are threads in the same tapestry, interwoven into the grand design of your soul's evolution. You're not here by accident. Nothing is. The soul is the story keeper, the architect of your reincarnation cycles. The spirit is the engine. It runs the body, gives you vitality, and determines how well you can navigate fate, karma, and destiny. Your ability to shift into a higher frequency reality isn't just about soul level growth. It's about keeping the spirit strong enough to actualize that growth in the physical world. Your experiences, relationships, struggles, and even the moments where you scream into the void, "What the fuck is happening?" They all fit into a much larger cosmic blueprint. The fact that you're even questioning it means you're waking up to the truth of your existence. And yeah, waking up can feel overwhelming. Believe me, I know. But that's also where the magic happens. Your soul's journey, a multi lifetime perspective. Think of your soul's journey as a long, intricate story, one that spans multiple lifetimes. The players, soul contracts, and karmic entanglements. You don't walk this path alone. You have soul contracts, agreements you made before incarnating with other souls who show up to help you grow, challenge you, love you, or trigger you into deeper awareness. Some of them are divine partnerships meant to elevate your frequency. Others are karmic connections designed to push you through unresolved lessons. Every person you meet plays a role, even the ones who seem to make your life harder. They are all here to mirror, awaken, and refine you in some way. Okay? The structure, fate versus destiny. The framework of your life is built on both fate and destiny, running parallel like two different train tracks. Fate is the default programming, the trajectory set by your past actions, karma, and choices. It's the predictable path, like a train moving along pre-laid tracks. If you do nothing to change direction, fate will keep playing out on autopilot. Destiny is the higher calling, the version of your life where you align with your soul's fullest potential. It's the alternate track that leads to expansion, but it requires conscious effort to switch over. Your free will is what determines which track you stay on. You can either ride fate's momentum or actively course correct toward your true destiny. The game mechanics, which are free will within a predestined framework. Imagine life as an open world video game. There's a main storyline, your soul contract, and certain key events and encounters are prescripted, meaning you will meet specific people, face certain challenges, and receive universal nudges pushing you toward growth. But how you respond, the detours you take, the lessons you embrace or resist, that's entirely up to you. You have free will, but within a structured framework. The universe gives you choices, but it also gives you a map, checkpoints, and multiple routes to the same destination. If you ignore the signs, the universe will reroute you, sometimes dramatically. If you avoid lessons, they will repeat in different forms until you integrate them. Zooming out, why you're really here. Your soul is here to evolve, to learn, unlearn, heal, and expand. Everything you experience, every relationship, struggle, loss, and breakthrough is designed to push you into greater awareness. The feeling of being overwhelmed, that's part of the awakening process. The more you see the patterns, the more you recognize the game. The more you recognize the game, the more power you have to play it differently. So when life feels chaotic, instead of spiraling, try shifting your perspective. What am I being shown right now? Am I repeating an old pattern or stepping into something new? Is this fate playing out, or am I choosing my destiny? Because the truth is, you are always in control of how you engage with the story. And the moment you start making different choices, you start rewriting the script. The awakening. What comes next? Soul versus spirit in awakening. When people talk about soul loss or feeling disconnected, they're usually referring to a fractured soul. The memories, purpose, and sense of self feel disjointed. This can often be healed through deep spiritual work, past life healing, or shadow integration. But when someone's spirit is weak, their life force is draining. This is what leads to burnout, chronic fatigue, and an inability to take action. It's the difference between knowing what you need to do, soul, and actually having the energy to do it, spirit. A strong spirit supports soul growth. If you're awakening but constantly exhausted, it's not just about clearing past karma. It's about strengthening the very force that runs your body. If you're feeling overwhelmed, disoriented, or like everything is shifting all at once, good. That means you're waking up. Spiritual awakening isn't about gaining superpowers or transcending into light overnight. It's about seeing reality for what it truly is and realizing you have far more power than you were led to believe. You are the architect of your own evolution. You are here to break cycles, transcend limitations, and create something new, and you are already doing it. All right, so what do you do with all of this? First, stop seeing yourself as a victim of your life and start seeing yourself as the architect of it. Recognize patterns, honor your contracts, own your free will, and for the love of all things cosmic, stop dodging your soul's calling, because the sooner you embrace the storyline, the sooner you get to start playing it like the badass you are. Next episode, to be determined, because let's be real, my guides are probably going to flip the script on me again. Stay tuned, y'all. This has been my spiritual shit show. Until next time, keep unraveling the mystery. Get off the air. Oof, what a shit show.